When Adesewa stepped into the gates of St. Patrick High School, all eyes turned to her. She was unlike anyone the students had seen before. Clad in a modest yet elegant uniform, her posture was confident, but her gaze remained downcast. Whispers floated across the courtyard. "Who's she?" one student asked. "Probably another rich brat who thinks she's better than everyone," another sneered. Adesewa paid no attention to the chatter. She clutched her books tightly, her footsteps measured as she made her way to the principal's office. By the end of her first day, her silence had become the talk of the school. No one knew where she came from or why she hardly spoke a word. To many, silence was a weakness, and in a school like St. Patrick, weakness was a target. Adesewa's days at St. Patrick followed a predictable pattern. She arrived early, sat at the back of the class, and avoided eye contact. During lunch, she chose the corner of the cafeteria, where she could watch the chaos unfold from a safe distance. It didn't take long for the school's queen bee, F, to notice her. F, with her loud laugh and designer accessories, thrived on being the center of attention. "Look at her," F whispered to her posse one afternoon. "Does she think she's too good for us?" Adesewa's quiet demeanor made her an enigma, and F was determined to crack her open. By the third week, rumors about Adesewa had spread like wildfire. Some claimed she was the daughter of a famous politician, others said she was a scholarship student trying to hide her poverty. F fueled the gossip whenever she could. "I heard she doesn't talk because she's hiding an accent," F told a group of girls. "Probably not even Nigerian." Adesewa's silence was her shield, but it also made her an easy target. She endured the whispers and snide comments without a word, her expression unreadable. Yet, beneath her calm exterior, her mind was sharp, and she took in every detail of her new environment. One rainy afternoon, F decided to confront Adesewa directly. "Hey, Miss Mute," she said, blocking Adesewa's path. "Think you're better than us?" Adesewa looked at her calmly but said nothing. The silence only fueled F's anger. She snatched the book from Adesewa's hands and tossed it into a nearby puddle. Laughter erupted from F's friends, but Adesewa simply retrieved the book and walked away, her head held high. It was a small act of defiance, but it planted a seed of curiosity in those who witnessed it. Who was Adesewa, and why did she refuse to fight back? The first time anyone noticed something odd about Adesewa was after school one Friday. As students trickled out of the gates, F and her posse lounged nearby, swapping stories and planning their next big party. That's when they saw it, a sleek black car pulling up to the curb. Adesewa's quiet figure emerged from the school, her movements as poised as ever. Without a word, the driver stepped out, opened the door for her, and ushered her in with a respectful nod. The car drove off before anyone could even snap a picture. "Who does she think she is?" F hissed. "A celebrity." The others laughed, but the incident left them intrigued. Who needed a private driver just to get home from school? The whispers grew louder, theories wilder. Yet Adesewa remained as silent as ever, leaving the students of St. Patrick more desperate for answers. Adesewa's home was a fortress, literally. Nestled in the upscale neighborhood of Ikoyi, her mansion stood out with its towering gates, armed guards, and surveillance cameras. It was the kind of place that screamed importance and wealth, but also secrecy. Inside, Adesewa sat at the grand dining table, her father at the head. Chief Adewale was a man of few words, but his presence was commanding. As a prominent figure in Nigerian politics, he was known for his no-nonsense demeanor and his ruthless efficiency. "How was school?" he asked, his tone neutral. "Fine, Baba," Adesewa replied, her voice soft but steady. She didn't tell him about the bullies or the whispers. It wasn't her way. Instead, she focused on her studies, knowing that her silence was her armor and her intellect, her weapon. Her father watched her with a mixture of pride and concern, unaware of the storm brewing at St. Patrick. As the weeks went on, F's irritation turned into obsession. She couldn't stand the idea of someone like Adesuwa, quiet, aloof, and unbothered, taking attention away from her. So she escalated. "Let's teach her a lesson," F suggested one morning. Her posse eagerly agreed. They started with small pranks, swapping her books, spilling water on her desk, and leaving notes with cruel messages. Adesuwa's lack of reaction only fueled their cruelty. One day, they took it further. During gym class, F orchestrated a plan to lock Adesuwa in the storage room. As the rest of the students laughed and moved on, Adesuwa stayed behind the locked door, her expression calm but her mind racing. She refused to let them see her break. Hours later, a janitor found her and freed her. She thanked him quietly and walked out, her head still held high. But her resolve to stay silent began to waver. Kihind was not like the other students. A quiet boy with a love for books and a knack for sketching, he often went unnoticed. But Kihind noticed Adesuwa. He saw the way she endured the taunts and pranks without flinching. It reminded him of his own battles with bullies. One afternoon, he found her sitting alone under a tree, reading. Gathering his courage, he approached her. "Hi," he said. "I'm Kihind." Adesuwa looked up, surprised. She nodded in acknowledgement but said nothing. I know what it's like to be picked on," he continued. "If you ever need someone to talk to." "Thank you," she said softly, cutting him off. It was the first time anyone had heard her voice. Kihind smiled, sensing he'd made a breakthrough. From that day on, he made it his mission to be her friend. F couldn't understand it. Adesuwa's refusal to react to her taunts was infuriating. For someone who loved being in control, F felt herself slipping. No matter what she did, Adesuwa remained an enigma. But now, there was Kihind, a boy who was always invisible, suddenly gaining attention by sitting with Adesuwa. During lunch, F and her posse watched as Kihind and Adesuwa shared a table. Though they spoke in hushed tones, it was clear they were forming a bond. This made F's blood boil. "What does she have that's so special?" F muttered. Her friends tried to console her, but it wasn't enough. F decided that if Adesuwa wouldn't crumble under pressure, then she'd make Kihind her next target. After all, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. True to her promise, F turned her attention to Kihind. She started by mocking his sketches, calling them childish and unimpressive. "Do you think you're Picasso or something?" she sneered one day, snatching his notebook and holding it up for everyone to see. Kihind flushed with embarrassment but remained silent. F wasn't done. She spread rumors about him, claiming he was only friends with Adesuwa because he was desperate for attention. Two outcasts sticking together, how pathetic, she whispered loudly enough for others to hear. Despite the ridicule, Kihind refused to abandon Adesuwa. If anything, the bullying only strengthened his resolve to support her. Adesuwa noticed his courage and began to speak more freely with him, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. But F wasn't finished. She planned a public humiliation for Kihind, determined to break him. Little did she know, her actions were drawing the attention of someone far more powerful than she could imagine. F's scheming was interrupted one morning when an anonymous letter was delivered to her locker. The envelope was crisp and expensive looking, bearing no name, only her locker number. F opened it cautiously, her heart pounding with a mix of curiosity and dread. Inside was a single sheet of paper with a chilling message. "We see you. Stop now." F looked around the bustling hallway, expecting to find someone watching her. But no one paid her any attention. She shoved the letter back into the envelope and stormed off to class, her mind racing. Was it a prank? Or was someone really watching her? F shared the note with her closest friends, but even they seemed unsettled. Maybe it's from Adesewa, one suggested hesitantly. Don't be ridiculous, F snapped. She doesn't even talk, let alone write threatening notes. Still, the letter planted a seed of fear in F's mind. For the first time, she considered the possibility that Adesewa might not be as powerless as she appeared. The anonymous letter lingered in F's mind like an unwelcome guest. For a few days, she hesitated to act. Her usual flair for drama and taunts seemed muted, her eyes scanning the hallways nervously. Despite her friends' reassurances that it was just a silly prank, the unease refused to leave her. Adesewa, meanwhile, remained composed, continuing her quiet routine. If she noticed F's temporary retreat, she gave no indication. Kihind, however, sensed the shift. Something's off with F, he remarked during lunch. She's unusually quiet. Adesewa simply nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Kihind raised an eyebrow but didn't press further. It was as if Adesewa knew more than she let on, yet he trusted her enough not to pry. One afternoon, as the students prepared for a school fundraiser, F overheard a group of teachers talking about heightened security measures. The board received an anonymous tip about student misconduct, one of them said. The words sent a chill down her spine. F couldn't shake the feeling that the walls were closing in. She resolved to lay low, for now. But her pride wouldn't allow her to let the matter rest entirely. I'll find out who's behind this, she muttered to herself. While F grappled with paranoia, Adesewa began to make subtle moves that hinted at her hidden strength. It started with a history class presentation. Adesewa, typically reserved, was paired with Kihind for the assignment. The topic was the evolution of leadership in Africa. When it was their turn to present, Adesewa's voice rang clear and confident, captivating the room. She spoke with an authority that silenced even the rowdiest students. Kihind complimented her perfectly, his visuals adding depth to their arguments. The applause at the end was deafening. Even the teacher was impressed. Well done, both of you, she said. For the first time, Adesewa seemed to bask in the spotlight, her quiet dignity commanding respect. F seated in the back of the classroom. Who does she think she is? She whispered to one of her friends. But the cracks in F's influence were beginning to show. Students who once blindly followed her were now drawn to Adesewa's quiet confidence and undeniable intelligence. F decided to reassert her dominance by throwing an extravagant party at her family's beach house. Invitations were exclusive, and as expected, Adesewa and Kihind were not on the list. This will remind everyone who's in charge, F declared. The night of the party, F spared no expense. The music blared, the drinks flowed, and her popularity seemed restored. But then, midway through the night, a sleek black car pulled up outside. The driver stepped out and opened the door. Out stepped Adesewa, dressed elegantly yet modestly, her posture as regal as ever. Gasps rippled through the crowd. What's she doing here? F hissed. She hadn't invited Adesewa, yet there she was, walking in as if she owned the place. Adesewa approached F directly. Thank you for hosting, she said simply, her tone polite but firm. Kihind stood by her side, looking both nervous and proud. F was too stunned to respond. For the first time, she felt out of her depth. Adesewa's mere presence had shifted the balance of power, and F's carefully curated image began to crumble before her eyes. Chief Adewale rarely involved himself in Adesewa's school life, but the events of recent weeks forced his hand. Sitting in his expansive study, he reviewed the dossier his security team had compiled. It contained detailed reports on F, her posse, and even Kihind. Chief Adewale's expression darkened as he read about the bullying his daughter had endured. Adesewa entered the study quietly, her gaze steady. You wanted to see me, Boba? Chief Adewale gestured for her to sit. Adesewa, why didn't you tell me what was happening at school? She hesitated before responding. It's not important. They're just words and actions meant to provoke me. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction of knowing they affected me. Her father's stern demeanor softened slightly. Silence is a powerful tool, but sometimes, addressing an issue head-on is necessary. You have my resources at your disposal. Adesewa's lips curved into a small smile. Thank you, Baba. But I believe I've handled it well so far. Chief Adewale nodded, impressed by her resilience but resolved to take action behind the scenes. The meeting left Adesewa with a sense of empowerment, but it also hinted at her father's growing involvement. The students at St. Patrick had no idea what was coming. Meanwhile, Kihan's determination to stand by Adesewa reached a turning point. During an art competition hosted by the school, he created a piece that depicted resilience in the face of adversity. His artwork subtly referenced the bullying Adesewa faced, portraying a lone figure standing tall amidst shadows. The piece garnered praise from teachers and students alike. F, however, was livid. She accused Kihan of seeking sympathy and orchestrated a public confrontation. So this is how you get attention now, she sneered, her voice dripping with contempt. By playing the victim. Kihan stood his ground. Art speaks the truth. If the truth bothers you, maybe it's time to reflect on your actions. His calm but firm response left F momentarily speechless. The exchange earned him admiration from his peers and strengthened his bond with Adesewa. Together, they became a symbol of quiet strength, inspiring others to question F's reign of terror. F's influence began to wane as more students sided with Adesewa and Kihan. The whispers in the hallways shifted from mocking to admiration. Students who had once been silent observers started calling out F's behavior. One afternoon, during a school assembly, the principal addressed the growing concerns. Bullying has no place at St. Patrick. We've received reports and are investigating thoroughly. Let this serve as a warning to those who think their actions have no consequences. Though no names were mentioned, everyone knew who the warning was directed at. F's confidence faltered. For the first time, she felt the weight of her actions and the isolation that came with it. Adesewa's quiet perseverance and Kihan's bravery had turned the tide. The power dynamics at St. Patrick were shifting, and F found herself on the losing side. The moment of truth arrived during a charity gala organized by St. Patrick. The event was attended by students, parents, and prominent figures from the community. Chief Adewale, as a key sponsor, was invited as the guest of honor. His presence caused a stir, as many recognized him from his political stature. When he took the stage to deliver a speech, all eyes were on him. Education is the foundation of our future, he began. But character is what defines us. As his speech continued, he subtly addressed the issues at the school. Respect and kindness should be our guiding principles. Those who undermine these values will find themselves at odds with the very fabric of this institution. Adesewa watched from her table, her expression calm but proud. F, seated nearby, felt the weight of his words. She realized that Adesewa was not just a quiet girl, she was the daughter of a man with immense power and influence. The realization sent a ripple through the room. The days following the gala were transformative. F, once the queen bee, found herself increasingly isolated. Her friends distanced themselves, unwilling to be associated with her tarnished reputation. The pressure became too much to bear. One morning, F approached Adesewa in the library. Her usual arrogance was replaced by genuine remorse. Adesewa, I want to apologize. For everything. Adesewa regarded her calmly. Why now? I was wrong, F admitted, her voice trembling. I let my insecurities drive my actions. I'm sorry. After a long pause, Adesewa nodded. Apology accepted. But change isn't about words. It's about actions. F nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. It was a humbling moment that marked the beginning of her transformation. Though forgiveness was extended, Adesewa remained cautious, knowing that trust had to be earned. With F's apology and the shifting dynamics at St. Patrick, the school atmosphere improved. Students felt more united, inspired by Adesewa and Kihan's resilience. The principal implemented new policies to address bullying, ensuring a safer environment for everyone. Adesewa's quiet strength became a source of admiration. She and Kihan continued to forge their bond, their friendship a testament to the power of kindness and courage. Chief Adewale, proud of his daughter's resolve, reminded her of an important lesson. Power is not about dominance. It's about using your influence to uplift others. Adesewa took his words to heart. As she walked through the halls of St. Patrick, she held her head high, knowing she had turned her trials into triumphs. Her journey was a reminder that even the quietest voices could echo the loudest truths. And so, the quiet girl who had once been mocked became a symbol of strength and dignity, leaving an indelible mark on everyone she encountered. In the weeks that followed, F made sincere efforts to change. She joined the school's mentorship program, helping younger students navigate the challenges of adolescence. Her humility and willingness to make amends surprised many, including Adesewa. One day, during a school event, F approached Adesewa. I know I've apologized before, but I want you to see that I'm truly trying to be better. Thank you for giving me the chance to change. Adesewa's calm smile held a hint of warmth. Everyone deserves a second chance, F. Just make it count. The two girls began to form a tentative friendship, built on mutual respect rather than dominance or fear. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness and growth. Inspired by her journey, Adesewa decided to start a campaign at St. Patrick to promote kindness and inclusion. With Kihan's artistic talents and F's newfound commitment, they launched the Voices of Strength initiative. The campaign encouraged students to share their stories of resilience and support one another. The initiative gained traction quickly, transforming the school's culture. Assemblies featured students bravely speaking about their challenges, while art installations by Kihan brought these stories to life. Even Chief Adewale became involved, sponsoring scholarships for students who embodied the values of the campaign. Adesewa's quiet leadership had blossomed into a movement, leaving a legacy that would endure long after she graduated. Years later, Adesewa returned to St. Patrick as a guest speaker. Now a successful lawyer and advocate for social justice, she stood before the students with the same calm confidence she had displayed in her youth. Your voice matters, no matter how quiet it may seem, she told them. Use it to uplift others and create change. The applause that followed was thunderous. Among the audience was Kihan, now a renowned artist, and F, a dedicated counselor working with at-risk youth. Their shared journey was a reminder of how far they had come and the power of transformation. Adesewa's story continued to inspire, proving that even the quietest voices could leave an indelible echo. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss part 2.